I know you're sick and tired of seeing me. This is 3 in one day, but we talked about nets. Now we're going to talk about Fishlab and the great products that they have coming out this year for 2020 and 2021. I couldn't be happier to introduce to you my new friend who we've just spent the last 6 or 7 minutes talking about everything else. But welcome to the show, Mike Bennett from Fishlabs. Hey, Mike, how are you?
Very good. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me how you got introduced into the outdoors, and tell me a little bit how you got introduced to, or how you started with Fishlabs.
You bet. Outdoor-wise, my dad got me introduced to the outdoors at a very young age, hunting and fishing our whole life. We lived in Colorado for a while. I mean, everything from ice fishing to deer hunting. And the passion just stayed with me. I worked at shotgun ranges, tackle shops throughout life. I started at Okuma Fishing Tackle 11 years ago. Started at the bottom, answering the customer service phone numbers, the 1-800 number. I'm glad they quickly saw I had a passion for this, so I was quickly removed from the phones and brought into the product development department. I was an assistant in the product development department helping with rods and reels for a year and a half, when we ended up teaming with a European lure company that many people are familiar with called Savage Gear.
Yep.
Savage Gear was a 100% European company, so all they had were pike lures. For the U.S. market, we needed a much broader range, so I was brought on as the head of product development for Savage Gear USA. Mads Grossel and I worked together side by side for multiple years, and we designed the full freshwater range that was brought into the U.S. Unfortunately, things have changed. Companies went the different ways. Mm-hmm. We have still a great relationship with them. Savage Gear's parent company still does Okuma distribution in Europe. But we decided that we still wanted a lure company. It's a passion of mine, and thank God Okuma let me run with this. And we were able to bring Fishlab to the market 2 years later.
Yes, I think I remember seeing you at iCast last year around, and then this year's just a complete craziness. How is the iCast? I mean, I saw you guys on the virtual thing that a band of anglers put together. The crazy, I don't even know how you want to put the video game iCast is what I'm going to call it.
The islands that you hop to see the product.
Yeah.
I love Paul Mickley for doing that. He was the brainchild behind that whole thing, and it's absolutely great. I mean, iCast, of course, due to the current circumstances of this year, was canceled. And it's definitely a new way to get our information out there.
Yeah.
Like I said, Paul went above and beyond with that, and I really like the format he put together.
It's definitely drastically different than anything we've ever done. I know. I think I don't even I must have been in it Friday. Did I? I must have went in Friday. I think I went in Friday. I don't even know. But I got to see it ahead of time. And I was like, this is, we knew this year was going to be strange. And that's the Stranger Things of this year's iCast.
Definitely.
So you're with Fishlabs now. Now you guys have come up with great products in the past. Like I just told you, I'm doing a closer look on the gill I purchased, the hard gill bio gill, and then I have a toad somewhere over there too. But there's a lot of great new products this year that you guys have coming out, including the new. I'll put it up there. The new. What is this one? Why can't I see anything? The new Wake Shad. Yes. Tell us a little bit about the Wake Shad.
So our Wake Shad is bringing back a classic bait that was on market for many years and faded away. I mean, it's just a classic, fun waking bait. We did 2 sizes on it, a 4-inch and a 6-inch. The old bait had some durability problems. It had a following that was unmatched by anyone else. The original baits, when they were in market, sold for $11. Now, if you can find them on eBay, they're pushing $70. So we retooled it, we retuned it, we made it better, and we brought it back. First thing we did was we double pinned the joint connection. That was the major problem with the old bait. Bigger fish, Largemouth bass, you were usually fine, but guys were fishing these for stripers, and they would just crush this bait in half.
Yeah.
So we really bulked this bait up. We went to a stronger body material. Like I said, we double pinned the joint connection. We put heavy-duty split rings on it, feathered hooks, and it's just got that classic waking action at any speed. As you can see, the bill is completely straight down.
Yeah.
That means you can crawl it on the surface, or you can turn the handle as fast as you can, and it's still going to have that waking action. The original lure was only a 4-inch. We've added a whole new 6-inch to this size. Like I said, we've retuned this lure. It's got this great rocking, knocking action, the big feathered treble in the back. And we just did that to bring it to as many more markets as we can.
How so this is a wake bait. So even if you just go crazy reeling in, how deep can you usually get it?
It will not leave the surface.
Oh, I love that, especially down here in Florida. How many colors does this come in?
It comes in 6 different colors. We have like a shad color,
Yep.
a sexy shad, a golden shiner, a chartreuse shad, and then an all-around, just we call bait fish.
Yeah. I have the 3 up. I think it's the regular shad, the sexy shad, and it looks like a green with a yellow stripe on the side. I don't know what color that one is.
Right, that was our chartreuse shad. Yes.
Awesome looking baits, to be honest. Awesome looking baits.
Yeah. They'll definitely cross over to a multitude of fisheries. I mean, I've had our product testers in Florida catching snook on these, waking it down the side of docks and stuff. So, and that's what we really wanted to build this bait for, was you can target anything that will come up and crush a topwater bait.
How much is the retail price going to be on these baits?
The 4-inch, the retail is going to be $13.99,
Okay.
and on that big 6-inch bait, it's a $17.99 retail.
Yeah, that's a big bait.
So even at $17.99, I mean, guys are paying more for high-end Japanese crankbaits and jerk baits. I mean,
Yeah.
some Japanese jerk for $24. You're getting a giant 6-inch wake bait for $17.99.
That is awesome. Good looking bait too, by the way. Good looking bait. Okay, next we have the flanker. Can you tell us a little bit about this? Looks like more like a stick bait.
Yes, the flanker is a true saltwater bait. Our problem on the West Coast is we have these bluefin tuna that showed up 5 years ago. And when you go out in a morning, you're either going to run across 20 to 50 pounders, 50 to 100 pounders, or 100 to 300 pounders.
Shut up.
And they can all be mixed. Yeah, it's crazy. Bluefin tuna before 5 years ago, the last ones that were caught in California waters with numbers were in 1920. They don't know if it was a current change or the nuclear reactor in Japan, but somehow a giant pod of fish has been pushed over to our coast. They've stayed, they've become residents, and now they spawn on this coast, and they just move from California to Mexico. And now we have 400-pound bluefin on the West Coast.
That is awesome.
So this was an unheard of fishery. 10 years ago, if you were telling people like 10 years from now, you'll be catching 400-pound bluefin, like no one would believe you. But this flanker was built because these bluefin will key in on a real small anchovy, and they'll be 3 inches long. So now you need a bait that you can still cast into a foamer, but have enough weight to be able to cast it off heavy enough gear to be able to land a 50 to 100-pound bluefin. Mm-hmm. So the flanker was designed for Australian fishing, same style, king mackerel, GTs when they're on that small bait. So it's a complete solid weights inside. It is one wire shot through the bait, and the wire is welded on both ends of the connection. It's a complete solid resin bait, and it's completely rigged front to back with owner rigging.
Nice.
Owner HT split rings, owner ST treble hook. So it's just meant for a long casting, fast working bait, but it's for when big predator fish are keyed in on small bait.
Yeah. That'd probably be great during our mullet run during just how deep does that bait swim? Does it stay on top?
Yeah, it's going to stay up in the water column. When you've got it going at a good pace, it's going to be a couple feet under the surface.
Yeah. And how heavy are these baits?
We do a 3 1/3 inch that weighs a 3/4 of an ounce, and we have a 4 1/2 inch that weighs 1 ounce.
And a 4-inch bait of that size can handle 100, 200-pound bluefin.
Yes,
dude,
without a doubt.
That is awesome. Okay, before I go to the next one, I had a question from one of the people. My buddy Jeff Hammer said, "Does the wake bait does it have any side to side action on a steady retrieve?"
Side to side, like a walking,
like
or
yes.
Right. Yes. We have videos of it up very soon. I will shoot you a video to hopefully you can share with yours. It
Yeah.
has a great side to side. It's not a straight up, like it's got
Yeah.
that
Oh,
nice
the
side
wobble.
to side. Right. We call that a secondary action.
Okay.
So lure business, your primary action is your lure moving forward.
Okay.
And that will produce either you use a bill to get action or you have to use some kind of boot tail or a tail to get action off the back. The more action it moves off that center line, that's what we call secondary actions. And that's what creates reactive strikes from bass. It's like crashing a crankbait into cover.
Yeah.
It's lost that forward line. It'll deflect. The second it moves off that center line, that's a secondary action. So that's what we built into that wake bait. So it does have that big, nice, it's going to show that belly roll, and then it's going to come back up to that top profile. So any fish is going to see the large profile, and then it's kind of go right back away as it moves in the other direction to the real slim profile. And that's what you're going to get to move fish.
Now, and just out of curiosity, sorry, we're going back. I'm backtracking. How long does a bait like that take to come up with and then get it to where you're in the final production phases?
This bait has been 3 years in the works.
Wow.
It has gone through four bodies and about 14 lip applications with different materials and different angles.
That is something. Now, what about this one, the flanker? How long did that take to produce, and how much does this bait cost?
The flanker is the 3 1/3 inch is $16.99. The 4 1/2 inch is $17.99. Again, it's the material cost on that because it's cheaper to make something hollow, like with a bronze statue. If you make it hollow, it's cheap. If it's solid all the way through, of course, there's a lot. The material that goes into one of these is the amount of material you could shoot a dozen normal baits with. So it's a little higher cost on that. This bait took many years to design. With Fishlab, we teamed up with a lure company called Fish Inc., who has had a well-established offshore program in Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa for many years. We're not paying a royalty. This wasn't. They actually teamed up. We absorbed the company and became one. Oh. So this was one of their current product offerings. This bait has been tried and true in the Australian market for 5 years now.
Oh, that's awesome. That's another good one. You guys are coming up with some winners. Why don't we go to next the Bio Shad Spin? Is that what it's called? I don't know.
Yeah, the Bio Shad tail spin.
Yes.
So tail spins have been widely popular on the West Coast largemouth bass scene for the past 4 years now. Our West Coast reservoirs are deep. They can go up to 200 feet deep. Of course, our bass are usually in that top 40 feet of water column. So this is a great search bait. In the fall, when fish are keyed up on the bait fish for us, they can be up in 2 feet of water over 80 feet deep in the morning, and they'll hit top water plugs. And then that shad school drops deeper. They can be down 40 feet 5 minutes later. And the successful anglers use this style bait because you have to adjust your patterns on the West Coast because of our depth of water. So this bait is a bait you can burn 2 inches under the water surface. You can drop this bait down 40, 50 feet, work the entire water column, steady retrieve, lift, fall retrieves. It's just been an all-around deadly bait. Big thing is tail market along, reinventing the wheel here.
Yeah.
But what we did do is all tail spins on the market in the past have had that blade attached directly to the back of the bait. So you've had one treble hook under the belly. So once you hook a fish and it comes up jumping, that heavy little lead bait is very easy for them to throw on a single treble hook. There was one Japanese company that strapped a frog hook to the back swivel on the blade, and they're very expensive. We, due to our relationship with Owner, were the first people approved for mass production for their brand new bladed treble hook conversion kit. This was just released in Japan 2 weeks ago. They haven't even named it in the US yet. So as you can see, there's a soft tube on that back treble hook that the blade is attached to. So now you have 2 full treble hooks for increased hook to land ratio, increased hookup ratio. But the best part is that's a soft tube on it. So if a fish comes up from behind, it allows that blade to fold up over that treble hook and lets the fish get the full hook.
That is cool.
We're going to run a full-size gamut on these, a 1/4 ounce, a 1/2 ounce, a 3/4 ounce, and a 1 ounce size.
How much are those going to go for?
They'll retail from $8.99 to $11.99, depending on the weight.
Yeah, so it's really inexpensive, to be honest. How
Yeah.
many colors in that one? Because that's going to swim. Is that going to have more of a swimming and like a lipless
No
strength?
shimmy to it. Nope, that bait is coming in straight forward,
Okay.
kind of head down. There's no vibration. It's just all in that tail thump.
So it looks like there's multiple fish.
Multiple fish balled up tight
Yes.
together. Yeah. Color wise, we're gonna run 6 colors on it. We're gonna have a black back, silver body, blue back, silver body, a perch pattern, a shad pattern, a white back with a silver body for dirty water conditions. And like I said, this will cross over to multiple markets from bass. Guys on the West Coast throw these inshore saltwater. I have product testers in Florida using these for snook around docks also. So it's just a great, a low light bait, a search bait. It's just, if you're at a lake you've never fished before and you've got bass on bait fish, it is a long casting search bait that will get you confidence quickly to know where fish are in the water column or what they're holding to.
Yeah, that's a sweet looking bait. Matt from I think is from Arizona said, "Nice. I would like to throw that here." So you got one. You got someone else looking at them. From the tail spin to next, what everybody seems to like these days, the 3D frog, the popping frog. Tell us a little bit about this one.
No problem. We came out with our original rattle toad last year.
Yep, that's what I have.
Yep. So what we did is we built a rattle into this frog, which tournament bass anglers have been doing for years. They'll insert a couple worm rattles into their frog. It makes such a huge difference when fishing heavy mats or thick scum lines. Sometimes when a bass blows through a mat on a silent frog, it's kind of searching and looking for the frog. So it's really, for lack of a better term, half-assed. It's kind of coming up through the mat and exploring that above water world.
Yeah.
When you give them that extra noise to key into, they come through it ready to eat. They know where it's at. They're tracking it with their lateral line better. They know it's a meal. They're gonna commit.
Nice.
So the famous adage that fish have no hands. So I mean, they're gonna poke through and explore and look for that kind of food source, but they're not gonna be sure. We noticed by adding this rattle, it's just the strikes are so explosive on this lure.
Oh, that's awesome.
We didn't just put the worm rattles in this bait because they sink to the back of the frog. It takes on a little water. Now your frog's standing straight up and down. We made a full hard rattle chamber in this bait, so it resonates through that soft body. And not only that, we anchored it to the base weight in the back, and we pushed that rattle all the way to the head. So this way it does not mess with the collapsibility of the body in the back, and it keeps the frog laying really flat.
How big is this bait?
We do 3 sizes. We do a 2 1/4 and a 2 3/4 inch, which are your two standard frog sizes. And then we made what we like to call the Magnum toad, and it's 3.5 inches.
Now, do you have to squeeze this one to get water out of it? Does it take on any water at all?
It takes on water after many casts.
Yeah.
Of course, the longer you have a frog and the more bite marks in it
Yes.
and little tears. So yeah, this one, I mean, you do have to, but the rattle being forward on this definitely helps with it laying flat. And like I said, last year we came out with the standard. So this year we familyed it up with a popping version.
Yeah.
So now you have that popping, gurgling action, but you also have that intense rattle feeling coming from the bait.
How many colors is this coming in, and what's the retail price of this one?
The 2 1/4 inch is $8.59 MSRP. The 2 3/4 inch is $9.69, and that Magnum Giant 3.5 inch is $10.69. So we.
Oh, sorry. Keep going.
Yes. I was gonna say we family priced it with our regular toad, so now you can have a regular or a popping for the same price.
How does it do a good walking action? Because I know usually your smaller frogs don't walk as well as the bigger frogs.
Right, with the rattle in the head, keeping it down, our standard rattle toad walks very well. Usually when people say they're walking a toad, you're walking the slack and the toad's pivoting.
Yes.
So the back end of the frog is really anchored in the water, and you're trying to get that head pivot. With this rattle mounted into the head, you're actually walking it. It will slide on the water a little bit. It's not going to be like a Zara spook, but you're going to notice a complete different walking action. And you don't have to trim the back skirt legs down to get a walking action.
Oh, nice.
Because we use floating PVC strands. It is 3 times as expensive as a material than a standard PVC that people put on the back of the frogs. But those that material sinks immediately with water contact. So when you're trying to walk a frog, having all that drag on it, that's why most frogs just sit back and kind of pivot. And the second you come too tight, it's got all that weight in the water, so it's just going to come forward. With the floating material and the rattle, it's the beginner's easiest way to learn how to walk a frog.
I like that. That's one of the things I'm doing a frog thing, and I go into, the bigger, bulkier, bigger frogs. You generally are easier to work. But if it's easy to work because of where the weight or the rattle chamber is, that makes life a lot easier. Okay.
Yeah, with the legs floating in the back and the rattle chamber, our smaller frogs are very easy to walk.
That's awesome. Next, let's talk about the weight. What is the minnow? I forgot the name of it already.
No problem. The Bio Minnow.
Yes.
So our Bio Swimbait came out last year. We did 4 original colors on it that were all very natural. These are a weedless minnow, so we cut a deep belly cavity in it. Just the cavity itself is very unique, as it has a chamber actually going up from the belly slit to where the hook is to come up through the back, and it settles in a nice groove in the back. So it's almost like an arrow for new beginning, or you're in a rush. You're not going to quickly rig a bait and look and see you missed the center line of the minnow, and you got to pull the hook back through, and it's already eaten up some material now, and you're pushing it back through to try to find that center line. We've made it as easy as possible to where you're going to hit that perfect center line in that bait the first time you rig it, and then we put a slot on the back that's just a little down to keep that hook point down, to where if you don't want to have to bury that hook point back down in the bait to keep weeds off it, you can do that. It comes in 4 sizes: a 4-inch, a 5-inch, and a 6 1/4 inch. And this year we added 4 new colors to the series. We added a translucent fire tiger pattern that gives you that bright look, but it's not too overpowering. We did a nice, great pearl white with this white sparkle in it for guys throwing the Alabama rig for stripers, guys bed fishing. When you just need that dirty water, you need that bright white swim bait. We came out with that. For our guys fishing clear water, we did a real nice clear water baby bass pattern. It's kind of what we call a ghost or phantom pattern. You hold it up to the light, and it's very, very see-through. You pull it down from the light, and it's got this awesome green sides, green back with this just tiny hint of black and gold flake, and just the smallest white shot of paint on the belly to give it a little bit of belly profile. And this year we also added what we're calling a cart pattern, which is that classic gold side, black back, white belly. It could cross for a golden shiner or a multitude of other bait fish.
That is cool.
You'll notice we exaggerated every fin on this bait, and that's another thing we call secondary action. We have a hybrid T-tail on it, so it's not like a standard T-tail everyone's using. T-tails usually swing side to side. A paddle tail is a real heavy arching swing. We found something in the middle, and it's kicking off a vibration that bass have never felt in their lateral line before, which made this an absolute deadly lure for them.
That is awesome. Now, how overall, how many colors is this going to come in, and what's the prices of this one?
We now have eight colors in this family, and the price on the 4-inch is $9.69.
Someone helping you?
No, I'm trying to look at the pound.
Oh, you can look.
These are is 4 baits for $9.69, I believe, or 5. The 5-inch is 1 less bait for $8.59, and then of course the 6 1/4 inch is 2 baits for $9.69.
That is awesome. Okay, well that's the graphics I have, but you still have some other. You have one or two products you want to show us too?
Yeah, you bet.
I'm putting you full screen now.
No problem.
No, I want to see this. Is the glide bait?
Yes.
Yes.
We have a full-on glide bait coming out this year. I'm a Southern California boy, born and raised. I saw the swim bait be born on this coast. I mean, I was throwing AC plugs that were cut out of literal broom handles for striped bass on our local Lake Silverwood back in the early 90s. I watched as major bait makers today were just grinding their teeth and starting. So when the glide bait first came out, we jumped on it heavy, and we hit it from everyone. People accused us of using live trout, fishing after hours, getting into the lake before hours. Honestly, it's been this for a decade. And before anyone else was throwing it, it was deadly. I've had so many doubles with an 8-pound bass on the front hook and a 7-pounder on the back hook.
Oh,
And what it is you can show so many different looks to a fish within 5 feet of a retrieve. It's disgusting. So on a straight retrieve, you've got this big side-to-side meandering swim. It's leaving that center line. So every swim bait up into this point had a paddle tail or a boot tail or a bill. So it's just swimming straight. And fish have become conditioned to that. Live fish, trout, etc., when they start chasing them, they don't just stay straight. So now you've got this bait just meandering around, swimming lazy. And you see a fish rise up, and all you had to do was give it 5 quick cranks of the handle. It went from this big, meandering, lazy thing to a uh-oh, and it would look panic, and then you pause it, and you twitched it, and the thing darted 5 feet to the side. And instantly, the second it stopped, it got crushed. And it was our biggest secret for years. Like, we swore secrecy. We lied to everybody about what lures we were fishing. We kept this thing secret. My best year striped bass fishing, one local lake, I had 238 fish over 10 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
We had the bite to ourselves. And then after a while, like, words started leaking out. And then the big bass god himself, Butch Brown, let everyone know about the Depths 250. And it went from we had this thing to ourselves to I walked down to the lake a month later and there were 6 kids on my favorite point, all throwing the same lure that I've been throwing for the past 5 years. So I was devastated. Of course, the fish counts now have gone down because fish get conditioned to stuff. So when we designed this, we didn't want the same gliding action as everyone else. We're looking for different nuances to what we could do with this bait. This is version number 7 that we finalized. My engineer I work with, I think, wanted to choke me out over this bait a couple of times. Because here he made this perfect swimming bait, and we had all these reference samples, and he's like, this is it. I was like, no, we got to make it different. And he's like, how? And I was like, I don't know.
That's your job to figure out.
That's the worst thing you can tell an engineer is like, it's got to be different, but I don't know how to like get you to where you need to go. And we finally settled on this swimming action, and I'm so excited to bring this to market. It is our Hydra Glide. We're going to run 3 different sizes on it, a 6-inch, an 8-inch, and a 10-inch. The big thing is we're bringing a bait that's going to be different, but the price. So most 10-inch glide baits on the market start at $75, and they go all the way up to $400 if you want your handmade, Roman-made wooden bait. We're introducing a 10-inch glide bait that's going to hit the market for $34.99.
Ooh, nice.
The 6-inch will be $17.99, and the 8-inch will be $22.99. It'll still have that same classic swim on the retrieve. Usually when you hit a glide bait, it darts. Ours actually has like this slight hesitation mid-dart. So when you hit it, instead of just going straight, it's like and it's just that weird slight hesitation that has been just a key for big fish to key in on this and start hitting glide baits for me like they used to before everyone else found them.
That's cool. Okay, I think there's one more left.
Yes, this is to show you how out of the box we are. This is our Wingsuit. So for us, these big blue flying fish. Flying fish are a staple bait for big game, sailfish, yellowfin tuna down in Mexico, etc. Right now, guys are buying a frozen flying fish, and one frozen flyer costs between $30 and $60, depending on the demand and how many are available. It's going to be a one-shot bait. So if it gets blown up and misses and that tuna rips it up, you're out $30.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Live flyers are hard to get. You have to have a commercial permit to resell them out here. The Department of Fish and Game's cracking down on people netting them at night because that's legit the only way you're getting live flyers. Recreational anglers are only allowed to target them, but with a sabiki rig, which is impossible. So the DFG really has us handcuffed out here, which honestly to me makes no sense. But that's their policies. So we want anglers to still be able to enjoy being able to fish a live bait. So we literally made a collar that's gripped on the inside, has a little rubber band connection, and now you can go to the jetty and jig up a tank full of live mackerel on a sabiki rig. Put them in your live well. They're great hardy fish. It's real simple. You slide this over the back of any live fish, You have a pin that goes right through the shoulder of the fish. And now instead of dragging a frozen popsicle around with its wings pinned out, you have a live kicking mackerel with that perfect flying fish profile.
That is awesome. Okay,
So,
I had a question. Matt Thomas asked about the last the glide bait. How many colors will there be in the glide bait?
glide bait right now, the colors will be hitch pattern. So Clear Lake hitch, which is a pretty good all-around bait fish pattern. If you Google Clear Lake hitch, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. The classic rainbow trout pattern. We're going to do that carp pattern, which will be just a gold pattern with kind of a heavy scale pattern on it, so it could cross over as a golden shiner. We're going to do a bone white pattern for my striped bass anglers on moving water, and then an all-around generic bait fish pattern.
Cool. Now how about the flying outfit, the flying suit, whatever? What is that called?
We're calling it the BioFlyer.
The BioFlyer. Now how much is that going to cost?
We're going to do 2 sizes on it. We don't have a finalized MSRP, but by all means, our target on the small one is going to be $9.99 to $11.99. On the large one, $13.99 to $14.99.
Now, when do all the products start? When are people like myself going to be able to go out and buy them?
We expect to have all products in stock by November.
Okay.
And shipping to retailers before December.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Any other ones real quick before I got to let you go?
We have a ton of stuff coming out this year, so just keep an eye out for Fishlab. There's a lot of baits we didn't go over. We have shad flutter spoons coming out.
You got rods and reels.
Yes. Another big one for us this year actually is our vertical jig.
Okay.
It's like an ice jig. All the ice jigs on the market have a plastic tail. For us on the West Coast, when these fish are on shad and they go deep, it's like video game fishing, we call. You're standing right over the trolling motor. You're standing right over your graph. You're watching your jig drop down. You're watching the fish chase shad schools. What we did is we made a new vertical jig with a metal tail. This way, instead of having that rigid plastic tail, if you're fishing in contact with cover, with rock piles and stuff, you can bang it off the cover and not break the tail. But for us, when these fish are mid-column, the metal tail is going to be adjustable. You can bend it down so it falls faster and darts harder when fish are aggressive. You can bend it up and out so it's flatter, so it hangs in the water column and really extends that glide out for when fish aren't as aggressive.
That sounds really awesome. Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing all the new products and being able to do my closer looks on them. There'll be 4 or 5 that you showed today that I'll buy, and I'll make sure that I do my closer looks and get the underwater footage. I'll share them with you when I do so, but I'm sure our audience is looking forward to it too. And I really appreciate the time today. Mike, I really appreciate the time today.
Oh, no problem at all. Thank you for having me on.
Anytime that you want to do this, you have something new, we now have phone numbers and emails and everything.
Yeah.
Keep in touch. Yeah. And I want everyone to go to fishlabtackle.com and check out their stuff. Go buy some of the products. And again, thank you for the time today.
Oh, anytime. Thank you.
I'm going to say goodbye to everybody, and then I'll be with you in 1 second. Okay. So hold on. No, everyone, make sure you subscribe. Go check out fishlabtackle.com, and I hope you guys have a blessed day. Remember, take a kid fishing, get your fish on. We will see you soon. Cheers.